My name is Tony Macaluso. I'm Service Manager here at Network Digital Office Systems. What we do here is certified copier refurbishing. We'll go through the entire machine from top to bottom, make sure that everything's greased up, all the gears are good, all the paper feed tires are good. At the end of all this, once all the testing's done and all the firmware and softwares are updated, you're basically getting a new copier at a discounted price. Document feeder is where the originals are fed through at high speed rates to make your copies. We'll go through each part of the document feeder, ensuring that each feed roller and pad is lubricated and looked at and cleaned. If there's any parts that need to be replaced, we'll replace it at the recommended list from the manufacturer. What we'll do in the optics area is make sure that the scan rails are cleaned and lubricated. We'll make sure all the mirrors and the CCD are cleaned and adjusted according to manufacturer specs. So in lubing the rails, it'll keep it nice and smooth going back and forth. The imaging section, which is the drum section, that's where your copy process is done. Your images get put onto your drum, and your drum then transfers it over to your paper. We want to make sure that the drum or the imaging units are always brand new before we ship out the copiers. 80% of our refurbished machines go out with a brand new drum. Each charge and transfer section gets taken apart and looked at and inspected. High voltage goes through the charger wire that puts the latent image on the drum where the toner adheres to the drum. So if the wire is not producing enough of a charge, you're going to get bad copy quality. This is where the paper actually passes through the fusing assembly. The ink gets fused onto the copy, and without having a good pressure, you're going to run into very smearing copies. So it's important that we go through this and we look at each roller and bearing and bushing to make sure that everything's up to spec. Software updates are run on all copiers before they leave the warehouse. What that ensures is that you have the latest firmware levels to each copier. So each copier could work with new versions of Word and new versions of Windows, and each copier has the latest firmware to work with the latest operating systems on your computers. All the copiers here will be tested thoroughly. Each copier, the feeder will be tested 50 to 100 sheets. Each paper tray will be tested 50 to 100 sheets. Also in testing, we'll make sure that if it has a fax board, we'll test the fax board. Or if it's set up to print or scan, we'll make sure that all the networking is tested also, ensuring that no copier leaves the warehouse with misfeeding.